Hello, I'm Richard Ridge for Broadway World. One of this season's most talked about breakout performances is Cara Young as Jess in Martina Mayok's Cost of Living at MTC. And I caught up with Cara here at the Museum of Broadway. First of all, I am thrilled to see you and be sitting with you here at the Museum of Broadway.
God. Me too.
Every time I see you, you have the best clothes, the best shoes.
Thank you so much. You always give me the best compliments on my clothes. I feel every time I see you, I always feel much better about what I'm wearing.
But
always.
I always run into you somewhere I'm like, what are you doing on 43rd Street? Oh, I'm in between a reading. I'm like, right? We always run into each other on the street.
It's true. It's true.
You know, you gave one of the finest performances in Cost of Living this season. How special was that show for you to work on?
First, thank you so much. It was incredibly special to work on. It was, Martina Mayok is a first-generation American, and Jess was a first-generation American, and it's as if Jess is holding so much of her mother with her, and all of the hard work that her mother did to get her to where she, an Ivy League education, and our parents do so much for us. And I'm also a first-gen American, so it was very meaningful to me to pay homage to that character, to all of the characters of the world, of being first-gens in the world, and knowing how hard our parents have just done everything they can to give us a foundation, to give us life, to make life comfortable.
Okay, you take a role and you just inhabit it. I mean, I watched everything you've done in New York since your Labyrinth days and everything else. But I mean, what attracted you to Cost of Living and Jess? Because like I said, you became Jess, Jess became you. What was it? What's that connection?
Oh man, there's so many similarities, but there's so many differences. And I'm not an Ivy League grad. I'm not as smart as Jess. But there was something about the hard work and there's a part of her that's very selfless. I mean, I'd like to think that the act of doing this work in the theater is ultimately a selfless act when you do plays like Cost of Living, because it does take so much out of you, but you know that you're giving a voice to a life that is usually kind of thrown under the rug and nobody gets to see. I mean, and Martina Mayok is such a genius, because that entire play, to me, and it's about many other things, but it's the capitalistic structure within our world, and when people are actually in need of each other, and it's almost like the core of what it means to be needed, to be wanted, to be seen, to be heard, to be taken care of, what intimacy is. So I feel like, all of the actors, including Martina and Giovanni, giving themselves over to this play in the way that, Giovanni's been developing this play, and my incredible scene partner, Greg Mosgala, and Katie Sullivan have been a part of this play for so long that it's beyond about me, or it's about the work.
Yeah.
And how that particular play has shifted so many people's their core of what humanity is to them. People walked out and was like, can I give you a hug? To each other, like random strangers. And then we had a caretaker night. And that was one of the most special things. It was for those people to be seen and heard you almost think that's the reason why we do what we do, for people to have visibility.
Yeah. I didn't mean to make you cry, but
No,
like,
it
but
just gets
such,
it gets so deep. It always gets so deep.
It's such a moving piece. You mentioned your co-stars, then David added to
And
the mix.
David
Yeah.
Zayas, oh my God,
Yeah.
he's like my theater uncle. I love
Yeah.
him so much. And, I know David and Liza through Labyrinth Theater
Yeah.
Company, and they've been so supportive of everything since I've known them. And to be in a play with him was just, it was a dream come
Yeah.
true. And to see him work every night was just so special.
How are you able to leave the emotional journey you take in this show? How are you able to leave it at the stage door at the end of each night?
That's a really great question, because I almost feel like throughout the years, I feel like I take a little bit of everyone with me. It's hard to let them go because I feel so a part of them, and it's so challenging to try to fill a whole human life within 2.5 hours, without an intermission, or like however long plays are. But sometimes I don't even know like how long the run is. But it's a challenging thing to let them go. I still get revelatory moments in my head, like, oh my God, like still sort of exploring.
Because I was going to ask you, what unlocked Jess for you? Because like I said, you become her, she becomes you, and that's the hardest thing for an actor, I'm sure, to find that balance of like, the audience thinks I'm this person, right? Don't you think?
Yeah, well, I don't even know how to answer that, because I almost feel like I would like to believe that I'm in constant discovery and wanting to dissect as much as possible. Because like I said before, it's really hard to honor a whole life, in just the moments that you see them, in the scenes that you see them. So I'm constantly thinking about what they're doing outside of this. Like, I guess it's sort of like a basic actor exercise of where they're coming from, where they're going, and what their entire day has looked like.
Before they got there.
Before they got there, how much money does she have right when she walks in the door? How much money does she know she's gonna make when she does this job? The fact that it's off the books, what her when she was 5 years old, what her teacher was like, who were the people that nurtured her, who were the people that made her feel grand, who are the people that made her feel low. I feel like it's just it never stops until the last performance, and then in my head it just doesn't stop, because it's just they're just here, and yeah.
All right, having your playwright and Joe Bonnie.
Oh my God, Joe Bonnie.
Had you worked with her before?
No, this was the first time, and I mean, Joe Bonnie
Yeah.
is I like to. She has like a paintbrush, and it's like really, really. She has like a big one, and then like a bunch of little ones, and she's just so like it's just the very littlest thing can really shift the entire story of that scene or of that moment. And it's like it's just, she's wonderful.
Yeah.
She's an artist. Yeah, I think like her history is like, she has a history as an artist. She has a history obviously as a director, but Joe Bonnie is the real one.
Yeah.
She's a real one, for real.
You were talking about Labyrinth. How life-changing was it becoming a member of Labyrinth Theater Company? So many incredible people,
Oh my
so many great
God.
writers, so many great roles for you.
Wow. There are those people, I look up to those people so much. And, I have to shout out my late mentor, Craig Mums Grant, who was the person who introduced me to Lab. And, he was like my big brother, and he really kind of took me under his wing. And at the time I was very, very green, but, Craig introduced me to a world that I would have never entered if it wasn't for him. To know those playwrights, to know those actors, to know those directors, to know those people that, Labyrinth feels like a place where they're really helping to cultivate the best artists that you can be across the board.
Yeah.
And almost by any means necessary, like you need to do your best.
Yeah.
And like, what is the deepest truth that you can find? Because that's where we're gonna move from, you know?
Yeah, but look at the people you work with there. I mean, you have Stephen Adler-Gierkes,
Yeah.
Halfway Bitches Go Straight to Heaven, Jeff Augustine's The New Englanders, C.A. Johnson's, all the Natalie Portmans.
Oh my God. Well, yes, Jeff. So the New Englanders, I was workshopping for about 4 years before it got a production.
4 years.
Yeah. Oh my God. And I mean that cast. Oh man, Crystal Finn. I'm in love with like everybody that I work with. And then C.A. Johnson's, all the Natalie Portmans, I was workshopping that play for about 3 years before it got a production. And the incredible Kate Wariski, and C.A. as a writer, oh man, I get revelations about Keanu all the time.
That
all
really
the
put you
time.
on the map, that show.
Oh man, that show, and Elise Kibler,
Yeah.
and Joshua Boone, and Renika Danielle Williams. I mean, just so many, and Montego Glover.
Yeah.
Oh my God, just so many incredible people. My brain is like, sometimes I'm like, wait, what? Like how?
How and who have I worked with?
Yeah. Because like I look up to everybody that I work with because they're such beautiful artists. So beautiful.
Then there's Lynn Nottage's Clydes.
Oh my God, and Lynn Nottage.
Broadway debut for you?
My Broadway debut.
In a Lynn Nottage play. Opposite who?
Uzo Aduba. Ron Cephas Jones,
Yeah.
Edmund Donovan, Reza Salazar.
Yeah. Brilliant. And you got to make sandwiches.
And I got to make sandwiches.
So you're a chef now. You can put that on your resume, right?
Listen, sous chef. I will cut some vegetables for you, because that was the practice, remember? Wow. That play was incredible. I mean, working with Lynn Nottage was really, 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 really special to me, for like, just that moment and being with her. Like, Lynn Nottage came to rehearsal every single day, if you can imagine, while working on MJ the Musical and Intimate Apparel, the opera. Every day.
That's what she does.
That's what she does.
Yeah.
And so much more. And she's always working. And to me, that's just like the work just never stops. It never stops. And she was working on that play for years, you know? It's just...
But she probably left with so much creative energy after leaving your rehearsal room to go home to work on MJ or to work on Intimate Apparel, saying, look what I learned today watching you all make magic.
Man.
We have to talk about your dad.
My dad, I love him so much.
I have known your dad for years because I've done,
crazy.
well, I've been in this business for over 25 years and we used to cover all these incredible things at the Rainbow Room.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking to myself, he served me, he's looked out for me, he sat me, he's like looked out for me every time I've gone there.
Oh my goodness, he's gonna love this.
All right, but I have to ask you about him because I love your initials.
Yes.
So your full name is what?
Kara Erin Young.
Okay, and the initials stand for what?
Well, so my father and my brother is Junior, and so we all have K-E-Y. And my father, he says that you are the key to your own destiny. You create your world. You're the key to open the doors to your world. And so he's always sort of instilled that in us ever since we were kids. Why I have the same initials as him.
Isn't that amazing, the journey? Okay, so when you told your parents you were going to be an actress, now your mom is in radiology?
Well, no, my mom was a physical therapist for a really long time at Harlem Hospital.
Okay.
Where I also had like my first job, where I also was born. I had my first job there in the summertime. You know, I gotta stack my little coins. Anyway, and then...
what did you do there?
I was working for this fabulous, beautiful black woman who told me that when I turned 60, you better dye your hair blonde, girl. And I'm a little early for that, but I followed her lead. She was like this really fabulous woman, but I was sort of her assistant, sort of. Like, she had an assistant, but then I would like think that I was her assistant.
Of course.
So it's like, what do you need? Like, what can I get for you? You need anything for that? Like, you know.
So when you told your parents
Yeah.
you want to be an actress, didn't your mom say maybe become a radiologist?
Yeah, because she was like, here, there's this program, you could go to radiology school. You know, and I was just like, Mom, like, no. You know, I was like, no. And I've had like all the menial jobs.
Yeah.
I've worked in the restaurant industry for so long, and you know, we were at Cipriani 42nd the other night. I was like, I've worked this room so many times. You know, yeah.
Lined up with white wine or something.
I know. I was like, totally. And like, I saw this young girl. She didn't look like me at all, but her energy was like so like. I was like, hi, I'm you and you are me. Like, I've been here before, you know. Yeah. And then my dad. You know, my dad is a very practical person. I mean, initially they weren't for it, but they weren't for it because they were protecting me, you know? And I was just like, y'all, listen, if it never cracks, I just know that I'm gonna be so happy doing this every day of my life. Yeah. And they were like, okay, all right, you know, but they've been so supportive along the way. They come to every single show of mine. My parents are really incredible, and I feel really, really blessed to have them in my life on this journey. You know,
Well, they set you up with giving you the initials, and your dad saying, "You're your own key to your own destiny, or whatever journey you take."
Yeah.
He gave you the key. Both of them did.
Yeah.
You took him last year to the Tonys, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
But okay, so the Tony nominees luncheon, you can't bring anybody. It's just for the nominees or whatever else. But who's there taking care of your table? I love that.
My dad was working, and you know, there's a special moment. Emilio Sosa, bless him, he changed our lives, because in the moment that he was giving me my nomination plaque, he paused and he said, you know, I walked in here for rehearsal this morning, and I'm paraphrasing, but he said, like, I walked in here for rehearsal this morning, and there was a gentleman who was beaming with pride, saying that his daughter got nominated for a Tony, and his name is Clay Young. And on cue, my dad was like holding the tray with Coca-Cola for somebody or a Diet Coke for somebody, and the entire room just rose to their feet and gave him a standing ovation. And I constantly think about this moment as like such a monumental, like magical New York moment, but also in the years that that place has been alive and thriving in all of the epicness that the Rainbow Room is and always has been. When has a server ever been acknowledged in that room in that way? It was just
a full circle moment. Like I said, your dad has always been very nice to me every time I've gone to that room, and I've been going to that room for like 26, 27 years. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that is so special.
What does it mean to be an actress? Because you could have been a radiologist.
I could have been a lot of things. You know, I used to do hair in high school. I used to make cakes when I was 12 and sell them. Like, I could have done.
I hope you have all this stuff on your resume.
I should. I don't.
Sous
Special
chef,
skills?
Special skill, chops vegetable, does hair.
Right.
Can play a radiologist now,
I can play a radiologist now. What does it mean to be an actress?
To be a fabulous actress, which you are.
Thank you so much. The answer will evolve, because I actually don't think about this very much, but you know, there's a feeling that when a play is happening, or when you're telling a story, one of the like most ancient things that we do is storytelling, right? You've heard stories from your parents, your family members, and we pass those stories down. And that's a part of the theatrical experience as well. But usually we're telling a story because there might be a lesson in it, or something to like take with you for the rest of your life. And playwrights and writers whose visions are so grand and vast and huge, and they hold the world in their spirits and in their souls. I feel like the act of storytelling is a way to shift consciousness in humanity, to really leave something with people that not changes them, but makes them think about what it means to be human and what it means to see, you know, I'm a black actor, what it means to be, what it means to see a black life, what it means to see a black life go on a journey in the most intimate of ways, which is the 2 hours plus that you get to spend in a theater with us in a communal vibration of the most ancient ways to be together in a space. I don't know the answer, but it feels big. It feels you feel like you're changing the world at times. You really do. Especially in a Lynn Nottage play, especially in a Martina Mayock play, especially in a C.A. Johnson play, and a Jeff Augustine play. Like, you feel, Stephen Alley Girgis play, you feel like you're saying something. Like, Stephen had this quote in when we were doing Halfway Bitches Go Straight to Heaven at the Atlantic, and it said, like, something to the gist of, people don't get to hear these people, so we gotta speak for them. These people have been thrown away, abused, you know, and we have to speak for them because nobody's gonna hear them if we don't speak these words.
But see, that's what a great playwright and a great cast does. You know? And like you said, the caregiver night.
The
Cost of
caregiver
living
night
was life-changing for all those people
Life-changing.
because they saw themselves being seen.
Yes.
Right? Finally, the Tony Award. This is your second Tony nomination.
Crazy. I'm still trying to catch up to last year. I swear, I'm really trying to be like, I'm still trying to process Clydes.
Huh? Well, now you got two to process.
I'm trying.
And they both were C's.
I
See what I can fill your mind with?
Yes.
Clyde's Cost of Living.
I love you so much.
Listen, I could watch you do anything. Like I said, thank you for just continuing to give us these incredible performances. And like you said, letting people be seen. And just after we leave a show that you're in, we go out for a meal or something and we can discuss a play or whatever else. But you're absolutely brilliant at what you do.
Thank you so much. And thank you for talking to me today. I love you so much. You always make me feel so great.
I love you.
I love you so much.
Oh, that's great.